2 days later, my camera died. Turns out my charger for the batteries were not working, so I replaced it and I'm back. I spent that night without filming anything, but I did some measurements in the cylinder here, and it seems like my honing is slightly oval, not too bad, but it's also tighter down here than up here. Now I could hone it some more, like hone this area more and get it right. I've used a couple of different measuring methods here, and it seems like it's about 39.8 around there here, so that's actually a slight interference fit with the piston, as you can see. So it needs quite a bit more honing here compared to the top here, which is okay, slightly tighter. So like Mark made these pistons from the dimensions I gave him, but the dimensions I gave him was taken with a snap gauge in the bore, and might not have been, it might have been a little tighter than what than the dimension I gave him. So actually the plating is probably a little bit thicker and won't be a problem honing it. So for the new guys here, this is my my own cylinder, designed and cast in the garage by me, machined by Hollenderen, and it should be okay. There's a lot of porosity in the bore here, or all out the casting. I have some thoughts about how to remedy those porosities in upcoming castings, but Sean Hilbert, president of Cobra Aero and Cobra Moto motorcycles, contacted me a while back, and check out their page. There's links down below. They're designing, developing and building their own engines for small aircraft and also small MX bikes. In itself, it's cool to be contacted by someone like that, a company as cool as that. What makes it even cooler is that they're making their parts, lots of their parts, with a metal 3D printer. So if you remember far back when I started talking about the design of this and how I was going to get it made, and I said maybe I will try to get it printed, people were laughing like, you're not printing metal, you're machining metal and turning it. No, you're printing metal, and these guys are doing it, and they have offered to lend me time on their machine to print a few or one or whatever of my cylinders. Which leads me to think, and this is what I spent most of Sunday, last time you saw me here, thinking about if I should go further with this one. I won't abandon the casting. I want to perfect the casting stuff, but like there's a limited amount of time until Bonneville this year, and getting a cylinder printed that's like perfect, usable, might be a good idea before I start playing with this, and I can start working on the dyno. The engine dyno I'm going to build. So I think I won't like use more time on this cylinder now. I'll put it on the shelf, and it might get some use later. I will definitely keep on casting and perfecting the cylinders, but for now I think I have some time tomorrow. I'll like change a few things with this this model. Remove the hole there. That's for removing plaster after the casting. Otherwise you wouldn't get to the plaster in the water jacket there. And also there's a drain hole for the plaster here, or for air to not get trapped in there when pouring the mold. And ideally I would redesign the whole water jacket to make it much tighter and with a different flow path, because it's really made now very crude to be castable. But as I don't need it to be castable, I should do that. But I, like with methanol and nitromethane, I think with the amount of fluid running through here, I think cooling won't be as much an issue as when running on gasoline. I think actually with good cooling, with a good cooling system, I don't think it's needed to have such a refined water jacket flow regime. We're going metal 3D printed cylinder. Talking about refined, you might also remember me talking about running a smaller spark plug and a more toroidal shaped dome here, and that's coming. I just made this. It's kind of a crude design, very straightforward, with a 14mm spark plug and the typical bathtub shaped dome there. So, but that's mainly because I want to try this tried and true thing first and compare with the more controversial design. Same thing with water jackets. So yeah. So sorry for like you were probably waiting for assembly part 2. Well, this is assembly part 2, but there won't be any more assembly. And I haven't had much time lately, as always, but I've read through some of the comments. I have some time tomorrow. I'm trying to like find an hour where I can sit down and just read comments and reply. I'm sorry I've kind of stopped replying to the comments, but I know there's comments about why no gaskets. Well, this is just a test assembly, like to see how everything fits. So I'll just pull it apart and use sealant. I'm not going to use gaskets. I'll use the this Yamabond stuff, which is like similar to a 3-bond. Is it 1094, 98? I can't remember. It's a semi-curing compound, so it doesn't cure fully. So we won't have any like swelling silicone bits floating around everywhere and like the normal silicone stuff. So this is the stuff to go for, the gray stuff. It's yeah, it's just awesome. So there won't be a gasket between the two case halves, just this stuff. And if I need to run a spacer here to set the squish right, I will use one thin gasket and then spacer with this stuff between the spacer and the case. So yeah. If you've been following for a while, you know I've been talking about how I want to do everything myself in here, and I still do. But now, as my focus has it hasn't shifted, but with the Bonneville thing and the need to end this new engine in development, like next year, it won't be. I'm saying this now that it won't be this. Like I won't be pressed for time, but probably I will have a new design ready to just. Next year, but anyways, this like for now this is turned more into like the engine the internet built. If you watched SV Seeker, the guy that's Doug, who's building a steel sailboat in his backyard. It's a really cool project, and it's just amazing what he has achieved in his backyard. He's calling it the boat the internet built, because it's turned out to more of a community effort where people are showing up and working for a few days and helping him out. So he calls it the boat the internet built. And this is starting to become the engine the internet built. So this is yours, your engine. I looked at you in the microphone. Kai Wheeler, Coldy Woody, Hollendaren, my patrons, everyone who's been donating. Special thanks to Patrick Rame. I'm not quite sure if you're Norwegian or Swedish or something. Is it Patrick Rame? Or is it Patrick Rame? Whatever. Thank you for your generous donation. Special thanks to you for... That was unusual, so thank you. Sean Hilbert for offering to print the cylinder. Just, I've probably forgotten a lot of people. Mark Atkinson. Sorry man, almost forgot you there. Made these pistons, designed and made these retained ring pistons. Thanks man. Thank you Kelvin Hammer for the lathe. Michael Milne, New Arc Welders. Thank you. Just thank you. Just this has become a theme in my videos now. Just thank you. But I really mean it. Thank you. Wouldn't have come close to this far without the help of all of you guys. No, I was looking at the microphone again. Okay, probably not the video you were hoping for or expecting here, but I feel it's the right way to do it, to get that cylinder printed perfectly and honed and plated. I might send the pistons over to them if they're doing the the boring and plating and stuff. I'm not sure. Otherwise, I'll send the pistons to the guys who will do the plating. Yes, I will get someone to do the plating, even though I have my plating setup here and I haven't tested it with the silicon carbide in the mix with the boron nitride. I will do that too, but now I'm eager to get this thing together right the first time. You know, I can't spend half a year experimenting when Bonneville is not that far from half a year away. And there's Jim and Don and Travis and the guys, the team there, and I would feel really bad if I screwed up this thing with my normal experimentation, like it's been for so long. People are wondering, why aren't you ever gonna ride your bike on the road? Because I've spent like 5 years now just working on the, not this one, but the SPX engine. And it's been on the dyno, but I've always found some way of making it not usable. Whenever it was ready for the road, I always found a way to, like, something I had to try to make it not ready. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Thank you. So I'll be back shortly with more info. And next time I will start working on the engine dyno, the load cell dyno. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.